Welcome to our presentation on the book Success Under Stress: Powerful Tools for Staying Calm, Confident, and Productive When the Pressure's On by Sharon Melnick. Our group number was group number 7. Our team leader was Natalie Ray Lopez, a group member, Daisy Zamora, and myself, another group member, Angela Garza. I hope you enjoy our presentation.
What will you be learning from our group today? So our table of contents that we took from our different learnings and overall tips that we wanted to share with the class are: recognizing what you can control will lower your stress. Clarity on priorities will help you have an intentional response. Being able to activate your parasympathetic nervous system at will helps your reaction to stress and improve your focus. Increasing self-confidence and removing self-doubt will lower your self-imposed stress. Being able to control your emotions while having to tolerate stressful relationships. And being able to mentally shift obstacles into opportunities. As students, we carry various types of stress, so learning what we can do to help better manage it will overall help us in our academic performance, but overall quality of life. So this is why we wanted to share these specific tips with the class. Recognizing what you can control will lower your stress. Sharon Melnick, who has a PhD in clinical psychology and is the author of Success Under Stress, shares the 50% rule. So this is when we focus on what we can control and take responsibility for it. Instead of waiting for others to change or take action, we can then take action of what's in our ability. And by doing so, it changes our emotional and physical state because it makes you a part of the solution. As students and in general as people, there's a lot of problems happening in our community, in our home, pretty much anywhere in life that can add to our stress levels. And a lot of it that might not be in our control. I can't control the weather, I can't control the level of traffic, but instead what we can do is take responsibility of what is in our control. So as a student, if I know there's a deadline that's coming up that I have no control over, the professor made the deadline, what is in my control is managing what I do until then. Whether that is my study habits, breaking up the assignment to do work each day, making sure I don't do it last minute, that is in my control. So then I can focus on what is in my ability, and it helps me be a part of the solution. Yes, I don't have control over the deadline, and that deadline is causing me stress, but I do have control in what I do to make sure I finish and go to that deadline. So that is a tip for us students that we can use in any part of our life. Yes, we don't have control over traffic, but we can make sure that we leave extra early. Maybe it's 15 minutes early, maybe it's 30 minutes early, and make sure we're not stressing over that what's not in our control. Clarity on priorities will help us have an intentional response. There are two types of response to stress: an automatic and an intentional response. The automatic response is created as a result of being under excessive stress, while the intentional response can be created by us when we become prepared to manage stress. Intentional responses are to support in time management and lower stress levels. So as students, it's very important for us to have that intentional response. Thinking about an automatic response, think of it as being in autopilot. You're not necessarily engaged, you're just going through the motion and you don't have complete control over your responses. So when you're doing homework, maybe you're taking a class, if you get into that very high stress level, you might go into an automatic response where you might be completing your assignments, doing the work, but you're not necessarily grasping all the information and truly putting in your best effort into what you're doing. So it's important that we become aware of when we're having this type of response. And when you engage and reflect in what's happening, reflect on what your stress level is, it can help turn on that intentional response. Instead of noticing that you're just doing homework, how can you balance out your time and prepare to fully grasp that information? And one of these ways to do is also think about what is a priority in your life. And that can help turn on your intentional response because you're more aware of what you need to do instead of just focusing on doing everything all at once. So that is a way that it can help students.
Our next main point is being able to activate your parasympathetic nervous system at will helps your reaction to stress and improve your focus. Our nervous system is either alert to fight stress or is in a resting mode. Our sympathetic nervous system is our body's natural response to stress. That's what people usually call our fight or flight response. That's when our brain is energized and it can focus on the problem. And that's why Melnick calls it our on button. On the other hand, we have the parasympathetic nervous system, which is our body's natural regulation and its way to recharge. We usually hear this as the rest and digest response. Then Melnick calls this our off button. By being able to turn off our brain, and activate that PNS, the natural regulation, we can recharge our brain in an instant and improve our focus when we do have to face a stressful situation. Here are some examples on how we can activate the PNS or how to turn off our brain and be on a resting mode. One is to incorporate a 5-minute light physical activity, which is like walking around your work area or doing a yoga pose for a few minutes, or even just meditation, just to recharge your mind. Another is to watch a funny video that would induce laughter, which is a natural way to relieve stress. Next is talking to someone you trust, like a family or a friend, being on a call or having a conversation for a few minutes with someone who can lift you up will help your refocus your brain and just relieve it from stress even for a little bit. Our next main point is increasing self-confidence and removing self-doubt will help lower self-imposed stress. Self-imposed stress, including doubting yourself, beating yourself up, questioning your abilities, and people pleasing, trying to please others around you, and thinking about being scared of what other people think. By building self-confidence and lowering that self-doubt, you can save time, energy, and effort that happens when you have self-imposed stress. Here are some examples on how you can build self-confidence. So one is through accomplishments. So if you set some goals and you accomplish them, you stop doubting your ability. You believe in yourself more, and that would just ump you up for the next goal that you have. The next is finding the purpose of your goal through focusing on the end user. That will eliminate trying to please others. So what that means is, for example, this project, if you're thinking about the end user, which is the professor and his guidelines, you can focus on your goal and your ability instead of wasting time about what other people think, what other people who will watch the video. You believe in yourself more through that way, because you're taking this class for a reason and your ability as a student. Lastly is starting an intuition log. It's a recording of how you act in different situations. So you pretty much write a note on how you successfully and unsuccessfully react to a stressful event. So by noting what you did successfully, when you do face that event again, or you're put under another stressful situation, from past experiences what you have done successfully, and you're not doubting yourself when you do that, and you can act pretty quickly instead of wallowing in yourself and worrying about what others think as well.
Next, I will discuss another main point. Being able to control your emotions while having to tolerate stressful relationships. When having to deal with stressful interactions and relationships, you feel you have no control of the task at hand because the other person refuses to cooperate, which allows for your frustration and negative emotion to become visible. Saying things we regret may also lead to stress, to the following conversation, or some may have a different approach avoidance, which leads to silent stress. The 50% rule is the tool which allows for you to change your perspective to focus on progress instead of being consumed with stressful relationships. You will learn to act instead of react, which allows for you to control your emotions towards that person. The 50% rule is a process which allows for you to control what you can control. You can only control yourself. You can only control your emotions and your actions. So choosing to be proactive in a situation instead of being reactive so that you can complete the tasks at hand or complete whatever you need to complete or go on your day-to-day lifestyle or job without having to avoid people or having issues, emotional, stressful issues with certain people. Next, I will share a few examples on how to manage your emotions with relationships. My first example being that you can communicate to a professor or advisor the situation of a partner project instead of putting your emotional efforts into it. Allow for authority to handle the situations and continue to complete the project to succeed in the class. Basically, worry about your efforts and your academic success and instead of putting all your energy and efforts into a relationship that isn't going to get you anywhere or isn't going to progress your task. As coworkers, you might not always agree on how to approach a presentation to your team. The 50% tool would be key. You should not focus all your energy on trying to prove yourself right, and instead be proactive on completing the presentation. Our last main point being able to mentally shift obstacles into opportunities. The 24-hour mentality expects for you to be on the clock all hours of the day, which is very demanding of your time, and oftentimes it feels you have multiple tasks, which all need to be completed in a certain amount of time. During stressful obstacles, you need to change your perspective and rise to the occasion. Mentally overcome obstacles and shift your mindset to view them as opportunities, which allow for you to become adaptive to any future challenge. Not only overcoming obstacles will not only being able to mentally shift obstacles into opportunities will it help you with that situation that is presently occurring, but in the future you'll learn skills that help you become more adaptive to other situations. That way it tends to become muscle memory, and now instead of thinking negatively, you will think positively about situations from there on out. Life skills that you will gain, and now it's mental adaptivity to certain situations. Now I will discuss a few examples on how to mentally shift obstacles. First example is a scholarship you applied for requires for you to join 2 academic clubs. You struggle with public speaking, so you decided it would be positively effective to join student body and a debate club to enhance your public speaking skills. Oftentimes, academically, whether it's in a college setting, university, high school, we are pressured to join all of these social clubs or just pressured to join these academic clubs, which can be frightening to some people. But in the long run, if we see these obstacles as opportunities, we can gain skills that we can use in a public setting in our day-to-day life when our academic careers are over. And we will learn these for future jobs or future business. Our next example being you are struggling academically and personally, but at first you are embarrassed to ask for help. You ask certain advisors for help and you receive all the support you need. Personally, I have gone to a community college and now Sac State, and I have received all the academic support and emotional and mental support that I have needed. So oftentimes our academic institutions want students to succeed, and they understand that we also need emotional and mental support, which is where counselors come along and they're able to help you, and you can build a support network just by asking for some help. This is mentally shifting through an obstacle of being afraid to ask for help, but now it's an opportunity where you are building a support network for the future, for any other future struggles you may encounter. Next, I will discuss our individual ratings of the book. Beginning with myself, Angelissa, I have rated this book an 8 out of 10. Success Under Stress is a clearly structured book, which allows for readers to gain tools and strategies on how to approach stress. Because of how well organized the book is, the audience is able to retain the information chronologically as calm, confident, and productive. I felt as if the author did a great job of chronologically putting the chapters and tools in order. Firstly, starting with calm, with how to prevent stressful situations, confident when you're in a stressful situation and you need ways to get out of it, and productivity, how to turn a stressful situation into a positive one. Next, Daisy has rated this book an 8.5 out of 10. She states that Success Under Stress is a great interactive book that walks you through how to manage stress in different areas of your life. Natalie has rated this book an 8 out of 10, where she states, overall, Success Under Stress provides numerous tools and knowledge on how one can improve their response to a stressful situation.
So, what were the likes and dislikes of the group with the book? So, some of our likes and what we appreciated about the book was the author not only provided information on stress that helped us better understand stress and how it impacts us, but it also included different types of techniques to better manage stress. It even included websites and resources to further dig into, which we thought was really nice because not only do we want to understand stress, but also stress impacts everyone in different ways. And there's different techniques that might work for some people and might not work for others. So having various types of techniques and learning how to apply it in our life was really nice to see. The author also included short quizzes that helped us evaluate how to see where our own stress levels were at, which is nice to not just learn about stress and different techniques, but start thinking about what is our own stress level and what can we do to then help manage it. What we didn't like about the book was the author would use personal stories as examples, but we thought that it kind of took away from the main points and were a little random at times. The story examples were mostly about corporate workers and often did not feel relatable, which is why we thought that the personal stories you can go without listening to. But overall, our recommendation is yes, absolutely read this book. If you want to create an action plan and learn how to take action to apply various wellness tips, these tips can absolutely support you in better managing your stress in your personal and professional life and just overall stress life. So yes, read this book.
Lastly, I will summarize what we have presented in our presentation today. To manage stress in responses to life's challenges, several key strategies can be employed. Recognizing the aspects within our control enables us to focus our energy effectively. Gaining clarity on our priorities helps us to approach situations with purpose and direction. Mastering the activation of our parasympathetic nervous system empowers us to manage stress reactions and enhance our concentration. Increasing self-confidence is key to eliminating self-imposed stress. Navigating stressful relationships becomes more manageable when we learn to control our emotions. Changing a mindset that transforms obstacles into opportunities allows us to confront adversity with resilience and adaptability. Embracing these strategies empowers individuals to lead a more stress-free life. These are some main points alongside an explanation of what we have discussed.
So this is our APA style reference page, but we just want to say as a group, thank you so much for listening to our presentation. And it was absolutely amazing to see like our personal growth and how we can apply these tools that we learned from the author into our own life. So please read this book, check it out when you have time, and thank you again for listening.